So I want to welcome all of you to the next day of 21 Day with Essential Oils, magic that occurs with essential oils. And I'm so excited again about sharing this time with you, and this time with Laura. Laura is here with us, and I'm so excited about Laura. Laura has been doing essential oils forever. How long has it been, Laura, that you've been involved with essential oils?
At least 10 years, probably more than that because my daughter's 18 now.
Okay. And you started when she was how old?
Probably about 9 or 10.
Okay, awesome. Well, Laura has 2 kids and has absolutely used them a lot with her kids, and has a ton of experience with it. doTERRA, I think, for a few years now, and so she's here to actually talk to us about what she has experienced with essential oils and what she has loved about. She has a really fun story about Helichrysum. We'll get into that very soon. But Laura, why don't you come and tell us first about you and what you really love about the essential oils, and what the oils have kind of done for you. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, I love the essential oils because the joke in our family is, oh, there's an oil for that. So it doesn't matter what's going on, how someone is feeling. Um, I know I can go to my box and find something. My son will even go over to the box if he sees that I'm not feeling well, and he'll take something out and he'll come and try to help me. And so I just love that I don't really have to think about all kinds of different ways to help my family. I know that there's one thing that I can go directly to, and I know it will have an immediate impact. And that's really kind of reassuring. I used to kind of feel all over the place. Like I actually have some experience with herbs, but those are harder to use and get immediate results with, and you can't really use them as easily with children. So I find that I can always help my son with whatever is going on, and he knows it as well. So that's...
I remember that. I remember when we did Aroma Touch sometimes on you, and he would come over, and it's really cute. How old is your son, Laura? Just for people who don't know.
He's 5.
It's 5, yeah. And I remember even like a year ago when we did some Aroma Touch, he would come over and he would just want to put drops and want to help out. And it was really so cute, but it was he felt very comfortable with the oils. It's like he knows them, right? He really does know them well. I love that piece.
Yeah, he actually knows that they work because I use them on his tummy or on his feet, or if he can't breathe, or he knows they work.
Yeah, awesome. If you think about the last few years that you've used doTERRA, what has been, besides the miracle story, which I do want to get to because you have a miracle story there, but what has been kind of the main trend in your family? What has been the main usage of the essential oils? What do you think you use the most for?
Probably for helping with all of the flus and viruses and colds and aches and pains. That's probably what I use them most for, because they work so fast.
Do you use it mostly topically or internally, or by diffusion for your kids?
Well, if it's for me, I probably do both equally. If it's for my son, I give him the little pellets on guard, and he will swallow them now like a pro. And he'll even bite them if he's got a sore throat, which is pretty cute.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty strong, but he's good. So with him, it's mostly topical. But for me, I take them every day internally, and I use them, topically as well.
Love it. You want to tell us about your miracle story? You want to tell us what happened? Because I know you have one.
My miracle story. I was carrying a bunch of bags up the stairs, and they were heavy, but I didn't want to make 2 trips. And at the very top step, I pushed up hard on my knee and immediately heard this tear pop sound and searing pain. And I dropped all the bags, and I was on the floor and I couldn't get up. And I had to yell for my daughter to come help me. And so from the floor, I was making calls to the doctor. because I knew I'd done something terrible. And at the same time, asking for my daughter to get the oils. So I made arrangements to go see the doctor, of course, and I immediately started putting the oils on. And I went to the doctor, and sure enough, it was not good. Um, and that was just an urgent care. And so I had to wait about 24 hours to go see a specialist. And so in that 24 hours, I put on Helichrysum probably every 20 minutes, even through the night. So I used Helichrysum, Deep Blue, and a little blend I had made. But oh, um, I every 20 minutes. And by the time I went to the doctor the next day, I showed him the pictures of what it had looked like. And he said, I don't know what you are doing, but keep it up, because this is incredible. I can't believe the difference you have made in 24 hours. This is unheard of. So that was pretty amazing. And of course, I didn't stop. And I'm a dance teacher. And so it was very important to me to heal quickly. And I would have to say it was just amazing how much it helped.
Yeah, I remember. I remember you calling me actually, and after like a little bit later after it all happened, and I'm like, oh no! I mean, it felt so bad. And then when I actually saw it the next day, I'm like, it doesn't look that bad, right? It was.
Yeah, it was quite a diagnosis as well, and so that's why it took. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell a little bit about Helichrysum, and then we'll talk a little bit more about everything else. Or do you want to talk about it? Is there anything particular about Helichrysum that you really love?
That it's regenerative. It has regenerative properties, and I think it's the only oil that has the amount of regenerative qualities. And that's what I liked. I'd used it on some torn tendons, ligaments once before, and had similar results. So I knew it was amazing.
Yeah. It is one of the more expensive oils, but that's because it takes a lot of flower, right? It comes from the flower of the Helichrysum. Some people say Helichrysum. Well, it depends on how you want to call it. But it comes from the flower, and it takes a lot of flowers to actually make one little bottle of Helichrysum. It's done by steam distillation, and it's actually harvested in Corsica. It's something that I truly love about doTERRA is that, and we'll talk about more essential oils, right? We've talked about essential oils already, how they really come from all over the world. And Helichrysum comes from Corsica. That's where it's harvested by doTERRA. So just some of the key benefits. You can see it on this picture, but just want to reiterate some of the things that Laura said as well. Very regenerative. Also really good for the skin. Beautiful oil for the skin. Also beautiful one to take internally, as it is anti-inflammatory as well. So that's another beautiful use that you can, for kind of issues that have been going on for a very long time. You can also take that 1 or 2 drops on the tongue or in water, whatever you want to do there. I don't particularly like the taste of it. I just know it's really good for me, and you can take it internally. So sometimes that's when I just put a couple of drops on my tongue and just take some water, and it's gone anyway. But topically, it's beautiful for the skin and reduce any blemishes. Also, you can do it with a full body massage, gives a lot of energy, and healthy metabolism is another one that's really good as well. So, and I liked a little bit of essential oil tip they put down there with beeswax and butter and fractionated coconut oil with vitamin E and Helichrysum and 2 tablespoons of zinc oxide. And then you have a wonderful sun cream. I saw that. I've never made it, but it's like, oh, that's really kind of a fun one to try out sometime. So. Anything else about Helichrysum that you want to say, that how you've used it that has really worked for you?
Yeah, actually, I carry this one with me as an emergency oil because it's also good for trauma. So if my son falls, I can put it on his bruises, and it's just wonderful for bruises. And maybe I can post this picture with this. But while I was traveling during the summer, I got hit in the head very hard. It knocked me out by a metro door. And I just it closed on me, and it knocked me out. I was lying on the floor in the metro station, and I had this huge hematoma on my forehead, and I have a picture of it. And I was so afraid I was going to have to go to the hospital out of the country. And so I was putting the Helichrysum on, and again, just within a few hours, noticeable difference. And I didn't have ice. I didn't have anything that could help me with that. So the Helichrysum made a huge difference, and I can maybe post that picture.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it. So yeah, we're going to put this on Facebook. And so we'll have some opportunities for people to share on the Facebook as well, kind of their experiences and what they have experienced. And would love to have any pictures or anything that you have. That'd be awesome. Yeah, let's put that up. That sounds like a fun idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hideous.
But it worked, right? So,
yeah, it was great.
okay, looking towards the future, Laura, in terms of thinking about essential oils and what people who are listening now and they're looking at how they can use Helichrysum or any of the other essential oils. What kind of advice do you have for them about in general about the essential oils, or in Helichrysum in particular, whatever you want to put there? Anything in particular you want to say to them?
Oh, I would say keep some oils with you, because there is always an opportunity to use them, either for yourself or other people. I've actually walked right up to people who I've seen have an injury, and right then, can I help you? And you would be surprised how thankful people are for, the consideration, and to use them. Don't just collect them, but use them often, multiple times in a day, and keep them with you. Your favorites.
Yeah. I love that advice. Purse, pockets, right? Car. There's all kind of places you can keep them with you. And I love that you also said that you also use them during travel. I use them all the time during travel as well. And especially as I go to certain countries that don't have a good healthcare system, like for me in Africa, it was really fun to have them, right? And to have them available and not have to worry about not having some kind of opportunity to get myself healthier when I felt a little bit down or had some GI stuff or some nausea going on, to kind of really help me. So I love that aspect as well. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you're going to continue with the oils, and we'll hear more about you and about the oils. If anybody has any questions, please post them under this Facebook post. We'll be there to answer any questions. We'll be there to kind of respond if you have any specific questions or comments. If you have any comments about Helichrysum or any other things about traveling with oils or oils with kids, because we also really touched upon that this time. And I love it, Laura, that you have a little one that you use it on, because often it's a question, right? Is it safe enough to use on little ones? You just want to address that real quickly before we end. Is how have you? Because you've used it from really, really early in his life, right? So any issues with safety that you want to touch upon?
I always dilute them. Although I will say I don't always dilute them as much as they say. I use kind of a sense for it, especially on the soles of the feet. You have a little more freedom there. I'm always very, very careful about things that might get in his eyes or on his chest. But he's a pro at it now. And I put them on his spine because he can't really reach it, or even the back of his neck. And that way I know that it's not going to get in his eyes. And yeah, I think that's all I can think of.
No, that's awesome. And just so you know, yeah, you don't want to get oils ever into the eyes because it hurts. But if by any chance I do get it on their fingers and touch it in their eyes, it will come out. Okay, the natural defense of the body actually have it tear out. So as long as you don't pour a massive amount in the eye, it will kind of come out. So I don't think you don't have to worry. You don't have to go to an emergency room because those oils will naturally come out. Go ahead.
And I made a mistake once. I put thyme on his chest because he had a cough, and I didn't dilute it enough, and it burned his skin. And so as soon as I saw that he was uncomfortable, I took coconut oil and I rubbed it on him, and then I wiped it off, and then I put more oil on. So you do have to use an oil topically to get it off. Don't use water, use an oil. And everything was fine. And I just kept putting it on and wiping it off, and then it became diluted enough to be okay.
Yeah, Yeah, and oils like thyme and oregano are sharp. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are always oils you want to dilute. But yeah, so of course, I've made the mistake too, and we can all tell stories about how we've come out certain oil experiences that didn't harm our kids tremendously, but definitely help.
Yes, like my daughter and oil of oregano.
Tell us a story
um,
and then we'll finish. But
yeah,
let's you know.
before doTERRA, I had learned that oregano was good for strep or throat infections or throat redness. And so I used to just make her tip her head up, and I would put the oregano, like 3 or 4 drops, in her mouth without diluting it. And this was before I knew any better. This is way before doTERRA. And of course, it helped her immediately, but it was quite cruel. And I didn't mean it to be. I just didn't know you were supposed to dilute it. And she's tough. She can still do it, and she knows it works, but I wouldn't recommend that. So,
And she will tell that story many times because of that. It's
yeah,
okay. So yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Laura, for being here with us tonight. Thanks
sure.
for doing this. I think it's awesome, and all your experience.
Well, I think what you're doing is awesome. So, thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, guys, go and comments. Goes and make a comment about the post. We'd love to hear comments. We'd love to see comments and your experiences too. Because jointly, if we all share our experiences, we just get a stronger base on what these oils are all about. Much stronger than any knowledge actually can give you, any kind of book knowledge. These experiences and your own experiences, it really is what's going to make a difference in your life. That's made a difference for me. Just my experience, but also the experience of people that I've heard. I know some of these stories, and I'm like, and I know now what to do if something ever comes across. But it also has given me kind of a witness of how potent and how strong these oils actually are. So, thanks again, Laura, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye
Bye.
bye.